there, this is Real Talk Baseball. I'm Carlos Baseball. With me, as always, is Ernie Orange, and we have a special guest, Chuy. He's going to go on in a few seconds. And how's it going, guys? I know it was a long week of baseball. I know there's a lot of interesting things we're going to go over, but I want to know how it was for you guys this weekend. And we'll start with you, Ernie. How's it going, man?
What's up, guys? So happy to be back on the show. Start our week right. Talk some baseball Monday night. Let's go ahead and recap this week. We had a great weekend and ready to talk with you guys.
Cool. Chuy, man, it's your turn to talk. It's your first time on the show. How do you feel, dude? And how was your weekend?
Man, it was a good weekend. Anytime we could get some rest time and baseball, it's always a good weekend. And it's even better when not only do you get to be part of the show, it kind of gets a little tiring having to, text your questions and stuff like that, so it's good to be on. And thank you guys, man. I love this hour. I call it the power hour of baseball. That's what I call you guys, power hour of baseball, because you get everything down in just that 1 hour. So it's always fun listening to you guys, and thank you for inviting me. And I'm ready and I'm excited.
Cool. We're going to test your knowledge later on, so be ready for that.
Yeah, true. We heard you have some great baseball knowledge out there, so we're going to test you out, see how good you are.
Man, I hope I did my homework right then.
Yeah, you'll be fine. You talk to me baseball every day. So we do have a good show for you guys today. We're going to go over the weekend recap, which is a series recap. King Felix, Fernando, Valenzuela, Jose Bautista all got their ceremonies in their respective stadiums with the Mariners, the Blue Jays, and the Dodgers, of course. And we're going to talk about Wander Franco allegations. Right now, they're allegations. He did not travel to San Francisco with the Giants, but we'll talk about that a little bit later. We're going to go into the Immaculate Grid. It's something that everybody's been playing lately. Ernie's going to give us a little bit of history on how that started, and we're going to do the live grid on here for you guys so you guys can test our knowledge and see how knowledgeable we are about baseball. We're going to talk baseball trivia, just like I said, which is Chuy's going to, be put to the test and see if he can do it. Of course, we're going to help him out. If you're in the chat, go ahead and hit those comments and go ahead and put them in there and help us out. If you haven't done so yet, go ahead and hit that like and subscribe. And I believe we have to start hitting that bell, because if we don't put that bell, we don't know when the show starts. So I think we have to do it again because YouTube kind of resetted that. So we'll start doing that. If you do have that bell that's not red when you're seeing our show, I think it's a good thing. And if you're on Spotify, hit that like button and go ahead and subscribe on there as well. Any platform that we have, you can ask us questions. We do have the Friday show, and that will start on Friday. We'll post it on here for sure. But let's go with the first one, the series recap. And Ernie, you got the AL, and go for it, dude.
Oh, man, the AL series. We had a great ones this week. First, to start off, the Astros out of Angels. The Astros took 2 games out of the Angels, two games out of 3. They continue to dominate the Angels in the AOS, and they currently catch themselves 2.5 back from the Rangers. The Rays and Guardians was a great series this weekend, guys. The Rays won 2 out of the 3 games. They won the series, and both games were one-off walk-off wins by a Wander Franco home run and Randy Arozarena single down to center. Both games came down to the wire, and Rays won both games by 1 run. Nice. Now, the next series, we had the Red Sox-Tigers. The Red Sox won 2 out of 3 from Detroit and currently sit 3 games behind the last wildcard spot. So they're still in the mix. Boston's still fighting out there. We had the Cubs and Blue Jays. The Cubs also won 2 out of 3 in Toronto. The Cubs continue to bring that offense, man. They're crucial hitting, great timely hitting, bringing in some great runs, and winning some important games down the stretch. And currently find themselves a half game back from the last wildcard spot. So, they're still in the mix. Yeah, wow. They're still in the mix. And the Blue Jays, after going down 2 out of 3 this weekend, their wildcard spot just fell down to 1.5. So they're 1.5 games up of everybody for that last wildcard spot.
Which is pretty good because I see that the Mariners kind of caught a little bit of fire, and they're only a half game in back of them. So those 2 teams are gonna be pretty interesting to watch at the final stretch of baseball.
Right, there's gonna be a great one out there. And then we had the Orioles and Mariners. The Orioles took 2 games out of 3 out of the Mariners. They finally the Orioles found a way to slow down the Mariners because they were being hot out there, man. Ever since the trade deadline, they were 9-1. It seems like they were on a tear and they could not be stopped. But the Orioles found a way. Cedric Mullins had a great weekend. He robbed a home run and then hit a home run in the following inning to give the Orioles that series win they much needed. Then to go to the next series, we had the Brewers and White Sox. The Brewers just swept through the White Sox Fortunately, the White Sox looks like they're just selling, no longer playing that well, and looking like forward to the next season. And lastly, the last AL game of the weekend was the Cardinals-Royals. So it's just a 2-game series. Both teams split the games 1-1. Not much going on in this series. Both teams are out of playoff contention, and there was not much going on for those two teams. But how about the NL the National League? Anything important out there?
Well, there's a lot of things going on with the AL. With the NL standings for sure. And we'll start with the Braves Mets. They had 2 games on Saturday, and they scored 21 runs in one of those games. They did win that series 3-1. That's a lot of runs, exactly. And then you have the Dodgers Rockies, which is the Dodgers took that and they swept the Rockies out of 4 games. You would go to the Yankees Marlins, which they not split that series, but the Marlins won 2-1. And the Marlins are looking pretty good right now because I know they're still in that playoff spot right now, and they're only up there by a half game. We just mentioned that the Cubs are really hot, so that's going to be an interesting thing to watch down the stretch because I do see that the Marlins and the Chicago Cubs and the Cincinnati Reds being in that contention. So then we go to the Twins Phillies. The Phillies won that series 2-1. Padres D-backs. It looked like the Padres were going to try to win these series, and for some reason they couldn't, knock it out at the end of the game. They came back, and the Arizona Diamondbacks won that series 2-1. Wow. We go to the Pirates Reds. The Reds won 2 out of 1. I mean, they could have swept the Pirates, but division rivals, they can always give you a hard time. You have the Giants Rangers. The Rangers took that one 2-1 out there, and in Texas, and then you have the Washington Nationals against the A's, which the Nationals swept the A's, and I mean, come on, it's it's not even funny with watching the A's. They really don't have much going. I believe Chuyito said he's going to go out there to Oakland and see one of those games out there. Is that true, Chuy?
That is correct. I will be there Friday night, where the A's will host the Baltimore Orioles. So that's really, really exciting.
Nice.
Oh,
and
that's awesome.
You need to get me that shirt, man. That one shirt that sell the team. So I can rock it on here.
That's right.
Yeah.
We're all gonna rock that shirt.
Somebody's selling that shirt outside the stadium.
Yeah, and you know what? They're gonna. I think there's another boycott, another reverse boycott to where they're gonna. I believe it's the 5th inning. The first batter, they're gonna just stand up and not even cheer, or do anything. After the first out, that's when they're gonna start cheering, sell the team. So if you don't know what's going on in Oakland, they want to move to Nevada and they want to move them to Vegas. And I mean, we already had that show here. We already talked about it, but. Do you guys want to go over the standings? Everything's pretty good. Let's go back to the AL standings on this one because I want to make sure that everybody gets to see. And if you're not seeing, we're going to talk about it on Spotify. But we do have the Baltimore Orioles in first place in the East. Is that going to be something that's going to hold on for you guys?
Yeah, it looks like it's going to hold on, Carlos. Looks like the Orioles are just playing great baseball, and unfortunately, the Rays are dealing with some type of injuries with the starting pitching going on right now. They still have enough, but I'm still kind of concerned, especially with the Wander Franco allegations going on now. There's just too much going on in Tampa, and I just think the Orioles are playing better baseball.
Yeah. Well, Chuy, you think they're going to hold up?
I agree. I agree, Ernie, and I think that these allegations that popped up, they just couldn't have popped up in a worse time. I think that the Rays had the best record for a very long time, and somehow their baseball went they stepped down playing baseball, and I think that they're up there with the Rays. I mean, they're only what 3 games behind, and then these allegations come out, and Wander Franco is a valuable player to that team. He's a team that brings great baseball, and I've seen him in the dugout. The guy, he's a spark, right? So,
right.
That's got to be a hit not only to the team baseball wise, but it has to hit the team morale, and we've seen teams just how they can drop. They can be in the top and drop, especially when they're hit emotionally, mentally. It could be draining.
It could, dude, and that's the thing with baseball. Like, if you are on it and you're part of being a spark plug, and then they take you out of that lineup, you're not even allowed to go into the clubhouse. So that's the thing with this new allegations popping up, and this came up yesterday when he was I guess it was a rest day for him. And what happened is he didn't play or anything, and the allegations were already out, and they were already talking about it. I believe the fifth inning, they didn't see him in the dugout. I think the Rays found out what happened. They removed them, and then he did not travel with the team to go to San Francisco for this series. So these allegations are pretty strong, and MLB is really looking into it. But as of now, they're just investigating. They're not saying that he did do it. He came out in the video. I don't know if you guys seen already. He came out in the video saying that he didn't do it, but
Oh,
I
really?
mean, since we're on the topic, and I know we're gonna go back to the standings, but we're talking about the Rays. Like, do you guys believe this allegation to be something to where it's his fault, solely his fault? Because there's other players that came, like I think Siri said, and his teammate saying that some of those people want to have fame and want to go ahead and get money from these superstars. And this guy, this is a kid. He's 22 years old,
Yeah,
and
young prospect.
yeah.
Right.
So, I mean, do you guys believe that at all, or you just like, you know what? It's an underage girl. That there's no reason for him to be even hugging her or whatever. The pictures. I'm not going to show pictures here. I mean, but you know what I mean. Like,
Yeah,
what?
there was definitely some disturbing images, and it came out on Twitter. Everybody got to see it. Now we kind of all wonder: was it really a rest day yesterday, or did the Rays already know? And it obviously looks like these people are asking for money. They want to get paid, and they want their minute of fame. But it's kind of unfortunate for Wander Franco. We don't know how this may affect his career. Would he be doing some jail time if this is actually true? There's a lot of concerns for the Rays, and Wander Franco, which was their number one prospect a couple years back. Now you may look at a guy that you may not no longer have in your roster going forward if this
That's
is
true.
holds true.
Yeah.
So who knows what's going to happen, but there's MLB is going to investigate, and they're going to do the right thing. And more than likely, Wander Franco's done for the year
Yeah.
after these allegations.
Yeah, they're gonna do the Trevor Bauer treatment. I'm pretty sure. So
Oh,
they're gonna
definitely.
investigate. They're gonna do all that. Chewy.
Yeah, I actually was going to bring that up. I think the last time we saw a case, obviously not similar. But I'm talking about the discipline wise that the MLB took, was with Trevor Bauer, and I think that obviously the reality is we're hoping it's not true. Not only for baseball, not only for his image, but obviously for who he did it against or who the allegations are against. But obviously we're hoping it's not true. But things can get misinterpreted online, and let's just hope for the best. I really truly believe that the Rays knew something was up, and they just kind of innocently gave him a rest day. And
Yep.
then in the middle of the game, you know what? We got some heat. Let's take you out of the picture. Because as far as I'm concerned, the Rays had talks with him, and he agreed to sit it out. They're supporting him. If I'm not mistaken, they're still paying his salary, because right now there's still allegations. So right now it's up in the air. The officials will investigate. They'll do their due diligence. So I'm hoping that it's not true, obviously, for everything that comes with the allegations. But I think it's something that's very, very, very serious, and it has to be. I mean, it has to be investigated to the full extent of did it happen or not, right? Hoping it didn't, obviously.
True. True. And it sucks. It sucks because I mean, it's kind of look upon, and it's I think it's one of those things where if you talk about it more and you start listening and you start pinpointing to some of the things, you start looking at it as a thing of like, okay, what really happened? Did someone, you know, like they really did this on purpose to where they try to get his money and stuff like that? Because I mean, at the end of the day, I hate to say it that way, but it kind of gets to where the parents at of that 14-year-old, where is the supervision for this, so we're a baseball channel, so we won't get into all that stuff. And I know a lot of people are probably even thinking like, yeah, that's true, why is this is not. Well, that's up to MLB to search and to do the investigation the proper way, give the chance for a
Correct.
22-year-old to defend himself. And of course, this 14-year-old, they're going to defend her as a child, and because she is under the age. So we'll go ahead and move on from this topic. And I know it's a pretty touchy one, but that's good we touched on it because this is a baseball show and it did happen to a baseball player. But let's go ahead and continue with the AL standings. And you guys say that the Orioles are going to take it, so that's good. Keep on going, Ernie. Go to the next one.
Well, AL Central is kind of given. The Twins look like they're just nobody else is competing in the AL Central. It looks like the Twins will just be the favorites to win, which I don't see them making a deep playoff run, but they're just going to be in there. In the AL West, yeah, it's one of those teams that are just there because of a weak division. Now we got the AL West. We got the Rangers still keeping up with the Astros. They're still playing pretty good baseball, but I think Astros are gonna come back and climb that division. They're just that experienced, bringing in Justin Verlander, an arm like that. They're just gonna continue winning, and I don't see them not winning this division at all. Now, what I'm most excited for is the AL wild card. It looks like it's gonna come down to Toronto and Seattle, and who's gonna win that last wild card spot is gonna be the most interesting thing. Like you said earlier, Seattle's playing really great baseball. Toronto is too, and they both have. If you look at Toronto's roster compared to Seattle's, you would think Toronto would be the heavily favorite. But the way Seattle has been performing lately, we're very small name market players, and they're still making noise out there. So it's going to be interesting how this all plays out come September.
Of course.
What do you guys think? Who's got that last wild card spot?
So look, before we go into the wild card spot, I wanted to talk about the West. You have Scherzer and you have Verlander. In that division, you have the Rangers with Verlander, and you have Houston. I mean, the Rangers with Scherzer and Houston with Verlander. Sorry, didn't mean to mess up, but I did. So there were some allegations, or there's some stories out there as well that I guess Verlander and Scherzer weren't getting along. That when they called Verlander a diva, dude. So when he was out there with the Mets, and he was claiming that because he didn't have the scouting report that he needed. He didn't have the things to perform well. He was kind of being a diva. So then Scherzer kind of took it upon himself to kind of feel like, what's up, dude? Step up your game. Let's do what you need to do. So that's why it doesn't surprise me that they both went to a rival division and they're going to face each other. And that'll be awesome if they do game one against each other in the playoffs, knowing this backstory, because they didn't get along with the Mets. There's a lot of things and a lot of stories about teams right now with the Mets that they didn't get along, that they didn't have the same atmosphere, they didn't have anything going for them. So that's going to be interesting to see down the stretch. But going back to your question, Ernie, the AL wild card, I feel like the Astros are going to be part of that wild card. I think Texas is still going to take that division, and they're going to be part of the wild card. I feel like they're going to be maybe the first spot, because the Rays are falling off, and we just talked about Wander Franco, right? And I do feel Toronto might get an edge on Seattle and taking that last wild card spot. But I just feel like Toronto is sparking it up at the right time. So I mean, I don't know.
I don't know. That's a tough one. It's up in the air. It really is.
Go ahead, Chuy. Do you feel like that's going to be? The way it's set up right now, that's going to be the way it's going to finish at the end of the season.
I feel that I think you mentioned it, because of the experience. I feel the Astros are going to just, man, this Astros team for the last couple of years has got hot in the right moment, and I think they're going to reclaim that division. They're, I believe, a couple games back, right? So I think they're going to reclaim that division, and I think Texas is still going to stay. The Rangers are going to stay strong. I think they're a solid team, but I do feel that the Rays will fall off, and the Mariners, as Ernie mentioned, the Mariners will take that edge and over the Blue Jays. I actually like the Mariners. Solid team.
They really have great starting pitching,
and I see them. Right, and they're getting very hot at the right time. But I do believe the Astros will take that division, and the Rangers and the Mariners would lead the wild card moving forward.
Oh man, you guys decided to go against me today, so I'm the only one that thinks it's going to stay the same. Hey, that's fine. That's why we're talking about it. That's the way it should be. All right, cool. We don't have to agree on everything, and if there's someone out there that does agree with me, I will hope so that they'll put it in the comments. Let's go to the NL, and the NL, is it going to stay the same? We have the West that the Dodgers are leading, and as a Dodger fan, I'm gonna be honest with you guys. I've been honest all this time we've been on the podcast. I felt like the Dodgers didn't have the team to be in first place, and they're in first place, 8.5 in front of the San Francisco Giants. Isn't that sweet? That sounds super fun, and it sounds really great, especially in front of the Giants. So, dude, I mean, I didn't expect that. I didn't expect the Dodgers to be in first place. And I'm gonna be honest, but they are gonna take off with it. They're gonna win the division.
I mean,
to
the biggest shocker is San Diego, Carlos. Look at
oh
that.
yeah,
6 games behind 500. Nobody saw that coming. 15 and a half games back. They came off after last season beating the Dodgers, coming like they were going to own the division, and they're just sitting in fourth place. What is going on? And, I don't think that playoff chance is kind of ending for them.
Dude, I'm gonna have to say it. I think it's the World Series hangover for the Padres. Their World Series was against the Dodgers, and they beat their nemesis, and then they just have a hangover. That really exists. But to kind of throw it in their face, I guess there's no World Series between divisions, and it sucks. I mean, let me deflate that balloon for sure. But yeah, I did hear something about the Dodgers. I don't know if you guys heard, but the chemistry for the Dodgers in the dugout, and it starts from all the way in the minor leagues to where they go ahead and feed these kids, really good food. And this is before MLB decided to up their salaries. They feed their food, and the away games, they take their stuff. They give them iPads. They sign up for a program. They get an iPad to discuss their batting or their pitching or whatever. They pay them okay, and they treat them very well. One of the things that Roberts does have in his clubhouse, he lets these players be their own, let them be themselves. So that carries on to all the way to the major leagues. So they're happy. So this is one of the successful things that the Dodgers have going for them. And Rich Hill just came out saying that. He said that, and there's other person that played for the Dodgers, and there's a lot of people that played for the Dodgers and said like their culture is just different compared to other teams. So that's why they're so successful in these past years. So I mean, give it up to them. I mean, they're doing pretty well, and it's kind of cool because I go for that team. So that's pretty cool.
Can I just say one thing? Can we stop the fire Dave Roberts tweets?
Exactly. Stop. It kind of sucks hearing it. All right, let's go on to the. Let's go to. Yeah. He is doing a good job. I think a lot of people don't take it for granted that if we get another coach, we can have Bob Melvin, and look how he's doing. They have the greatest team this money can buy, and they can't do anything with it. They're what 4, 6, like around. I think they're 6 games under 500, dude. So that's not good. It's not good at all.
Yeah.
Let's go into the NL East, and this is your Braves right here. Do you think that they're gonna? I mean, we were just talking about 4 players playing 116 games and hadn't got a rest until today. I guess Albies didn't play, but do you feel like they're gonna let off, Chuy, since this is your division?
The Phillies are coming in very strong. I do believe that the Braves have being 11 games ahead. That's a pretty big step ahead of them. So I think since the All-Star break, I think they're both at 8-5 or so, or since the trade deadline, they're both 8-5. So they're both playing about at the same level. The thing about the Braves, I believe it's and not just because that's the team I root for, but I do believe that it's a better, well-rounded team defensively, offensively. Their pitching kind of has dropped the ball a little bit, but it's just a matter of, hey guys, shake it up. Whatever you're thinking, whatever you're doing, let's do what we were doing in the beginning of the season. So I truly believe that the Braves will win that division. But the Phillies are coming in pretty strong. So I see them being the number 1 spot in the wild card. And it's funny you were mentioning right now about the Dodgers. It happens a lot when you have obviously the Dodgers are in the National League in all of baseball. I believe it's one of the biggest organizations. So when things are not going that way, we want changes right away, and the changes come from the manager. Let's start there, but it goes far beyond that, right? You got to blame players, you got to blame everybody. So Roberts is doing an amazing job. I mean, 12-1 since the trade deadline. I think that's the hottest team right now since the trade deadline. So he's doing a good job. And the Braves, a bunch of young players that they have fun. And we always say that to our kids, go out there, play baseball, have fun, enjoy. Baseball is a fun game. You can't be upset playing baseball. You have to go out there and love the sport, have fun. And I'm thankful and I'm glad that the Braves are enjoying baseball just like we do. Right. So I see them winning that division. But I see the Phillies putting up a battle, just falling a little bit short.
Yeah. And
I agree with that.
Doesn't mean they can't go far. Look what happened last season, right? They didn't win the division, the Phillies, and they made, they went they gave us a scare, right? So it doesn't mean anything, but it just I see them winning the wild card, not the division.
Well, yeah, they get a hot and they get a hot streak. There's still a lot of baseball to play. A lot of people think, oh, they're 5 games or
Right.
8 games and that's it. No, those games can happen, can go down. What did I say last week about the Giants being 13 and a half games out of first place, and on August 12th they started that run that made them all the way to the World Series. So it could happen. Ernie, I know you're still waiting on your Angels. So
We're done.
you're raising the
We're gonna
white
be.
flag. You're raising the right flag.
I am because Mike Trout's not around. If Mike Trout was here, I could still give us a chance. But with no
Okay.
Mike Trout in the lineup and still no timetable for his return, it's kind of hard. You just can't put it on Shohei, and that's where he's getting tired, arm fatigue.
Yeah. All right, let's go into the NL Central. And Ernie said that the Cubs are going to win that division.
I
Right,
did.
Ernie? You still standing by it?
Oh, I'm still standing by. I don't see them. The Brewers just got lucky this week. They faced the White Sox, a little easier teams they face. But the Cubs are just playing hot, and we already know how this always works, Carlos. The hottest team in baseball always takes that division that last month of the season. So I wouldn't be shocked if the Cubs win this division. The Reds are just kind of going downhill right now. Their pitching is kind of slacking. And, Ellie de la Cruz kind of hype has kind of shut down already. Joey Votto's looking kind of older now. And, so I see the Cubs winning this division. Do you guys agree? I know Tony agrees with me, Anthony.
Yeah, he says that go Cubs. He put it on here, and I put the comment on. I'll put it up here again so you can feel good, Tony. I'll put it on there. But yeah, I don't know. I just feel like the Cubs are riding on a hot streak right now. It could happen to where I feel like they're going to go a little down. The Reds, I kind of felt that the Ellie de la Cruz hype was too much. Only when he plays the Dodgers, that's when he starts heating back up. They don't play the Dodgers anymore unless they see each other in the playoffs, if they make it to the playoffs. So I just feel like the Reds are going to fall short. But I think there's going to be two teams coming out of that division. I think the Brewers and the Cubs are going to come. I'm not with you guys on winning the Cubs winning that division, only because I feel like they're going to fall a little short on that. But they are going to make the playoffs for me. They're going to be in that wild card spot, and I feel like they're only a half game back. But I feel like Chuy said, the Phillies are going to take off with the wild card. The Giants, I don't know how the hell they're on there. I just feel like they haven't been playing good baseball. They're 4-6 of the last 10. And they're not doing all that great, but look, they're still on there. They're still being a pest. And you have the Miami Marlins are doing the same thing as the Giants. They're 4-6, and they're still in that wild card spot. But we'll see what happens. And then you have the Diamondbacks that won 2 out of the 3 against the Padres, which now they make them 2 out of 8 in their last 10. And they do have the pitching; they can come back. Look how hot they started. So it's kind of hard, like when you see the wild card and you see all these teams ahead of you, it's hard for you to climb those teams if those teams keep winning and you lose a game and then you just keep sinking lower and lower and lower. So is the bracket for the wild card going to be the same for you guys? Phillies, Giants, Miami, or do you guys feel like something else is going to happen there?
I see either the Cubs or Brewers being in that last wild card spot.
Yeah, that's what I feel. That's what I feel.
Right. I'm going with the Brewers in the last spot and the Cubs winning the NL Central.
Oh man, you guys are against me again.
Right. It's because Ernie and I talked before the show, and we just agreed that today was going to be.
I can tell. I can tell.
By the way, this is the first time I talked to Chuy.
Right. Right. No, you know what? It's just a fun team. Dansby and Cody came to that team, and they just transformed that team, and I'm sure other players did, but we got to highlight Dansby and Cody, experienced players, both World Series champions. That the morale of that team skyrockets once you have an MVP winner or 2 World Series champions. That just, you're like, man, you're on my team, all right, let's go, right? Yeah. That's confidence right there.
Yeah, and that can boost up any team, like in anywhere. So that kind of helps out. All right. Let's move on to the next topic, and this topic was 3 ceremonies celebrated in 3 different stadiums, and we'll go ahead and play the video and talk about it. The first one was Fernando Valenzuela. I mean, not Fernando. We'll talk about Felix Hernandez and King Felix just got honored in the Mariners Hall of Fame. And, this is something really cool. Ernie, you were telling me something about this guy. You want to tell everybody about it?
I'm not sure if you guys know, as an Angel fan here, this is one of my greatest favorite pitchers watching as a kid growing up. Felix Hernandez was one of the greatest to ever play the game for me. He's the greatest Mariner pitcher they've ever had. But yeah, as here we're also watching Fernando Valenzuela. What was this moment here? I wasn't born to see this, so can you guys tell me if you guys could recall?
This happened in 1990. He got a no-hitter. He got a no-hitter in his career. This is his only no-hitter in his career, which is really good. And right here, Bautista hitting that monster shot and that monster bat flip. A lot of people remember that. And he got signed for a day in Toronto, and he's going to retire at Blue Jays. So the Blue Jays did say that what better honor than to have him. There goes the bat flip right there. But yeah,
Right.
what better honor to have him as a Blue Jay. He did play for 10 other teams. He wasn't just one of those players that played all his career there, but he did have some great moments out there. But that's pretty cool. Going back to the Fernando Valenzuela thing, I think what's really nice about that is that they retired his number out there, even though he's not going to go into the Hall of Fame, but he is going to be a Hall of Fame in Dodger Stadium, and they're going to retire his number, and they already did, 34. So no one's going to wear that number, and there's interesting stories about him, and I know there's a story about him that Chuy, that you can tell us about him.
Right. Yeah. I was talking. Well, we were watching TV with my dad, and he just, he didn't realize Fernando Valenzuela's number was going to get retired. He got all
Yeah.
excited, and I remember him just talking about, when Mike Brito was out there in Mexico, he, and I always thought Mike Brito was a very good scout. He brought a lot of these Latin American players and, did great things. But he wasn't out there to look at Fernando Valenzuela. Actually, he was out there to look at a player that Fernando Valenzuela actually threw 3 balls to him, and then threw 3 strikes, struck him out, and then he's like, okay, this guy has something. So he gets brought to the Dodgers in '79, and the Dodgers have a pitcher by the name of Bobby Castillo, who I think is a native of LA, if I'm not mistaken, East LA. And the Dodgers thought, well, Fernando comes in with a fastball. He has a slider and he has a curveball. But we need to get him to throw an off-speed pitch, something that he can throw in and mix to get the batter to swing ahead of the pitch. And this Bobby Castillo took him in under his wing for that 1979-1980 season and taught him the forkball, or the screwball. Screwball. And I thought, wow, I thought they brought this guy because he had that in his arsenal. Well, he learned it here in LA, and Bobby Castillo. And I thought, wow, would you look at that? We talk about Fernando, but I never heard even Bobby Castillo until my dad mentioned him, and my dad remembered his name. And I was mentioning to Carlos that, my dad used to wear his LA hat, with his little fro, and he was looking like Fernando. And I think that was most of our parents in the 80s, right? But he said, no, Bobby Castillo took him under his wing. He said, come here, dude, I got you. We're Latinos. We're gonna do this together. Taught him the screwball, and man, I mean, the rest is history. He comes over here and he just, man, he did great things. You just showed the video of his no-hitter, and I'll be very honest with you. I'm surprised his number had not been retired already. Right?
That's true. And it's like one of those things where a lot of fans were saying, how come he hasn't been retired? And then the Dodgers had one of those things where they didn't retire a number unless it was in the Hall of Fame. And which brings me to the next question. Are any of these guys Hall of Fame worthy? Like, you're talking about their career. You're talking about how they pitched. Remember, back in the days, these guys were throwing a lot of innings, dude. They were throwing innings where they had complete games. And I think Fernando Valenzuela threw 20 complete games in his career on his span of being a Dodger. I'm not saying season. I mean, it can't happen in the season. I'm pretty sure it happened back in the days. But then you're looking at Felix Hernandez too. He used to pitch a lot of innings. He was in that era where he used to pitch 7 innings plus. And then you're looking at Jose Bautista. He hit a lot of home runs, and he did a lot of things for a lot of teams. But the thing with this is, are they Hall of Fame worthy for you guys? And we'll start with Fernando Valenzuela. Why not?
You know what? I think Fernando had a great run with the Dodgers, but unfortunately, the way his career ended with playing with other teams, he ended up playing with the Angels, the Padres, and then he went back to Mexico to pitch. He just jumped around, and I think that's the reason why he's not in the Hall of Fame today.
That's true. Chuy?
Yeah, I agree with you. I think he did good things here in LA. Obviously, World Series champion. But I think that towards the end, because he kind of fell off, I think it was 88 World Series where he was not even in the roster.
Yeah.
And that just shows you, man, if who knows, maybe that would have changed. Maybe that would have changed the voters' mind and said, you know what, yeah, he is worthy of the Hall of Fame. So I think the same thing, that because towards the end he fell off, it made it seem like, are you Hall of Fame worthy? Because all these other Hall of Famers, man, they stuck it out their whole career and they got into the MLB winning and they got out winning. So I think that ultimately is what did it also, that he fell off towards the end.
That's true. And then Felix Hernandez, what do you guys think of him? Like, he started off hot as well, and look, he ended his career pretty bad.
You know what? At the end of the day, I think he was just with a poor team with the Mariners. It's not his fault. He never got no playoff chances, but he did have one of the greatest runs as a pitcher. He was one of the most feared hitters, guys. He had the hardest sinker thrown out there. Would always get out of gems, with his ground ball outs. He won the ERA twice, 6-time All-Star. He won a Cy Young Award and was actually second in 2 other ones. So he had the chance to winning 3 Cy Youngs. Had he not been with the Mariners, this guy would have been a legend had he been pitching for the Yankees. So,
yeah, that's true.
And he would have gotten more fame, and he would have gotten more popularity. And
that's true.
He did throw that 23rd perfect game, and it was an incredible achievement by him too.
Yeah, and
so
you know what?
I agree.
So is he a Hall of Famer? Yes. In my eyes, he is. Because the stats, the stats in the Hall of Fame sometimes could be tricky. There's players out there with certain numbers, and some yes. You also got to see the impact and what they did for the team sometimes. And I feel like Felix Hernandez was that one pitcher that from 2009 to 2015, it was a pitcher you did not want to face. The number 1 pitcher Seattle had at the time.
Yeah.
Right.
Unfortunately for me, he's not a Hall of Famer, only because he didn't make it to the playoffs and he did not make it to a World Series and stuff like that. You're basing. I'm looking at other freaking Hall of Famers, and they've been to the playoffs. They won a World Series. I always talk about this guy, and I always say, why was he in the Hall of Fame? And he just came in this last year, and I can't remember his name. Are you kidding me?
Scott Rowland.
Scott Rowland. You guys already know. Why is he in the Hall of Fame? And he was bad. He was a 277 hitter. He didn't hit 500 home runs. His fielding was up. I give it to him. He was really good, but he wasn't one of those players that I remember to be one of those elite players. And Felix is a little bit better than him, because I remember his name coming up when he threw out that 23rd no-hitter. And not only that, he used to get a lot of Ks. So if that guy made it, maybe he can have a chance to go in. But because of those reasons, for me, he won't make it to the Hall of Fame. And he's really good. He's really good. But I don't know. Chuy?
I agree with both of you. I believe that if we were to say Felix Hernandez is Hall of Fame worthy, I would have to say that Fernando is too. But I believe it's because of the team he was in. I was actually excited that he joined Felix Hernandez joined the Braves in 2020, and he was mid-30s, 33, 34. I was really excited, but then we know what happened 2020 season, right? Because of the pandemic, he opted out. So he signed a 1-year deal, and it was $1 million or so. And I was really excited because of what he had done in Seattle. And I don't know, now we wouldn't know what he would have done in Atlanta, but I think that would have been a great pickup because of his leadership, because he was experienced, and the Braves didn't have that in their pitching rotation that season. So I think I'm going to say that he is not Hall of Fame worthy. He's a great ball player, but if I'm a voter, I won't vote him in, because there is pitchers that have done a little bit more, and I would be biased, or I would contradict myself if I said Fernando is not and Felix is, right? Because I believe they both were great pitchers.
So you join me on this one. You switch sides. You came to the dark side.
we have to flip the coin every so often. So that was there.
Yeah.
That was my coin flip right there.
Of course, man. That's good. All right, the last one, and it's Jose Bautista. Is he a Hall of Famer? And I'm gonna go ahead and say no. You guys.
Yeah, that's a straight no. I mean, he jumped around with 10 teams. I mean, what a great career though. At the end of the day, with the Blue Jays, he just had a great memorable moments with the Blue Jays. That bat flip was amazing. And it's a guy that jumped from team to team in the beginning of his career, but he found a home in the Blue Jays organization. And he had some special moments that we watched earlier with the ALDS game-winning home run. And we also remember him for his fight with Ronald Odor. But other than that, overall the guy was great. But is he a Hall of Famer? No. Unfortunately.
Nah. That fight though. That fight was amazing, dude. It was one of those fights where we kind of just saw Tim Anderson get knocked out. But he didn't go down. I'll give it to him. He didn't go down. He fought all the way to the 12th round, and we all know how that happened. But it's pretty. Yeah, it was a good fight, dude. It was a good fight. But the bat flip was the memorable moment for me that I remember. Bautista. I was watching that game, and there was baseball all that day. Those playoffs, I remember, and he did that bat flip. It wasn't just a regular one, man. He launched that bat all the way up. So
yeah,
it was pretty cool. It was pretty cool. So, Chuy, do you agree with us on that one, or you're gonna go the other way?
No, I agree. I agree. This one I'm gonna agree, and I think we mentioned Scott Rowland a few minutes ago, and I think that he's up there in the same boat. Good player, good ball player. But you're both absolutely right. He was in different teams, and that a lot of times doesn't speak very highly of a player. Unfortunately, right? So I would have to say no, that he's not Hall of Fame worthy.
All right, cool. And you've heard it from all of us. We don't agree that Bautista belongs in the Hall of Fame, but who knows? He might surprise us. All right, let's go to the next topic, and we're talking about the Immaculate Grid, and we have a cheat sheet for you guys, and I have it here, and I'll post the picture. And if you know these players, who they are, these are the players that are common to put on a spot where you're kind of having difficulty putting the player on. And I kind of feel like there's a lot of people out there that's like, start putting new players and stuff like that. You're talking about these players. These players are early 2000s. There's a few in the 90s here, but I'll go over this lineup. I mean the names of these guys. You're looking at Rich Hill. He just joined his 15th team, so he's been on 15 teams. He just joined the Padres, so he's leading that pack for being the player that's been on the most teams. And then you have Edwin Jackson, as you see, with the Cubs. Then you have Tobio Dotel, the one with the Blue Jays. You have Mike Morgan with the Dodgers with 12 games. And then you're looking at Ron Dion, which is on the top of the list here. And then you're looking at LaTroy Hawkins, 11 teams. When you're in doubt, go ahead and remember these guys. Bruce Chen, you have him at your upper with the Indians, not the Guardians, the Indians. And then you're looking at Jerry Hairston Jr., 11 teams. And the last one we just talked about, he's not on this list because we just talked about him. Jose Bautista, 10 teams. So if you're having trouble with your Immaculate Grid, it doesn't hurt to put these guys because these guys been on a lot of teams. And if you're looking at the NL West to try to add a player that played for all the teams in the NL West, Steve Finley is one of those that pop up in my head, and you can put him on there. It's not that hard, guys. I mean, I feel like we can go ahead and do it right now, and I think we have the history on this. Ernie, go ahead.
Yeah, man. So, this Immaculate Grid just started in April by a software engineer named Brian Minter at the age of 29. This guy's a genius. He loves baseball. Wow. He knows how to make all these charts and all these automations. Guys, engineers, man, out there, they're geniuses. Over 200,000 people play daily here on the Immaculate Grid. So this guy was like, you know what? I want to pass it on to somebody else. And he got the Immaculate Grid bought off for $1 million by Sports Reference, a company that dedicates of having all the statistics for every sport: baseball, hockey, football, basketball, you name it. They have all the statistics out there. And, so this is a great thing that happened. All these baseball nerds out there, now we're all competing to see if we could get this Immaculate 9 for 9. If you guys want to try one right now, let's go ahead and try one, us three, if you guys want to give it a shot. How about that?
Oh, yeah. Well, yeah, let's do it. I'm down.
All right.
Hey, you know what? So they can know we're live. I don't know if we're going to get all 9, but if we do get all 9, you'll see like how much knowledge of baseball we have and we hold. Let's put you got the grid already up? We can go ahead.
Yeah, I'm here sharing it.
Okay, gotcha. Should be on there.
Yeah. Sweet. So basically, if you guys can see it, right?
Yeah, we got it.
So there is a total of 9 squares. You got 9 options, 9 guesses. Once you miss one, you can no longer get it back. So you have to make sure you have the right answer before you go for it. So right here today, we have the Guardians on the top left. We have the Nationals, which could also be used as an Expo. So it's also like a cheat sheet. If you ever see the Nationals, you could also use a player from the Montreal Expos.
Gotcha.
On the right top corner row, we have the 30 stolen bases. On the vertical, we have the Yankees, the Rays, and a 200 hit season. So let's see. Let's see if we could try to guess this real quick. How about you guys want to give it a shot?
Yeah, let's do it. But I just want to say, one that comes to mind right now with the Cleveland team. I'll just leave it Cleveland team because he played for the Indians, but I know they're the Guardians now. And he played for the Yankees, and one of them that pops up to my head is Justin. What is it called? He was a Braves man. Mr. Brave, help me out on this one. David Justice.
David Justice, right?
David Justice.
I have CC Sabathia for this one. But okay, another one, guys. For this game, the more rare the player, the lower the score, and the lower the score, the better your score, basically. So you want to try to aim for players that are rare. So we have David Justice or CC Sabathia. Which one should we go for, guys? David Justice?
I think the more rare, for me, would be David Justice.
How about one that came to mind? Who's the manager of the Yankees?
Oh, Brett Boone. Aaron Boone.
Right, Aaron Boone.
He played for the Indians.
If I'm not mistaken, he played for the Indians.
Wait. No, he played for the Reds.
He played for the Reds. He bounced around. He bounced around, and I want to say that he played for the Indians. But I don't want to be the reason why we missed today.
Wait. No, that's fine. You need to change our mind on this one. Like that, don't say I don't want to be the reason. Tell us, like, is this the one you feel like it's a for sure thing?
He's one that came to my mind as soon as I saw this. I thought, hey, Aaron Boone, right? And all I could see him was, doing that strikeout where he's imitating Las Diaz a couple weeks ago for striking out one of his batters. I'm sure you guys saw it in highlights where he didn't like the pitch and he imitated the umpire. I just kept seeing his face. I thought, man, this guy, what a character, right? But hey, that's the passion, right? That's the passion.
Yeah, that one's gonna be.
But you're right. I did think about David Justice, right? CC Sabathia obviously came to mind.
David Justice. Let's just do it safe. Go for it.
All right, 4%. Also, 4% of the people guessed David Justice. Nice.
All right.
Cool.
So the 30 stolen bases, is that gonna be with the Yankees?
Yes, correct. So if you have a 30 stolen base season, it has to be with that team that is mentioned. So the Yankees. Person I could think of top of my head right now, Chuck Knobloch.
Chuck, I hated that guy. Oh my god, I can't stand that guy.
You
know why? Yeah. You know why I don't like that guy? Because in the playoffs of 97, I believe it was 96, 97, he got a ball at second base, and that he never caught the ball. And I believe it was against the Orioles. Remember that kid that reached over the fence to steal a home run, and that was the same series. So he was at second base. They threw the ball to him, and he didn't even close the glove. It just touched the glove and then went out of his glove, but they still called him out. And the Yankees won that series. So it was Chuck Knobloch. I know he had nothing to do with it with the call, but for that reason, I didn't like that guy.
I didn't like Knobloch, and not just Knobloch, but the Yankees, because they beat the Braves on multiple occasions for the World Series. So
sorry, guys, sorry. So
one that came to mind to me was Kenny Lofton.
But did he steal 30? Did he have 30 stolen bases with the Yankees?
Well, it could be with the Yankees as long as he played there, right?
I don't know. See, that's
so the 30 stolen base season has to happen with that team.
Yeah, because it says season. It says season. Yeah,
so
you're right.
For the Kenny Lofton.
Yeah, go for it.
So for this one, do you guys know? I have Kenny Lofton here for the 200 hit season.
Yeah, that I do remember. That you can definitely put that Kenny Lofton for the 200 hits, Chuy, you agree with that
you
one?
guys
It's 'cause he
remember
was a slap.
in the 90s. You guys remember in the 90s Indians, a batter, Carlos Baerga?
Oh man, second
No.
baseman, shortstop, second
He
baseman.
yeah, mid infielder. The guy I know was a good contact hitter, maybe not a power hitter. So 200 plus hits.
Definitely.
Now I don't know this to be true, but I believe I would definitely, if this was me doing it individually, I would have put Carlos Baerga in that corner down there.
I,
You're,
I,
yeah,
oh.
I don't really know much about that guy.
But I do remember he was one of
I
the
don't
top
know. Can I see?
players. He was one of the top players. I remember he in the World Series of '95. He was a top player for the Indians. Was that the 90? Is that the year the Braves won it? 95.
Yeah, he was
Yeah,
actually on the, yeah, he was,
and the
if I'm not
Indians, right?
mistaken, I think he did the last pop fly to Marquise Grissom
And Marquise
in left
Grissom to
center.
win the World Series. Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
All right, I'm down with you on this one. I do believe he could be on that 200 hit season with
So Carlos,
Cleveland.
how you spell
Yeah,
his last
Carlos
name?
Baerga
It's
is
with the
with
B,
with the
Baerga.
B as in boy. Baerga.
Oh, this guy,
Carlos.
Carlos Verga. Verga.
Okay.
Let's go.
Oh, we
Oh, we
got
got
it.
it right. Good job, guys. That's 11%.
Nice,
Good job.
nice. That
Yeah,
one's
true.
good.
That's a good one. I was going Kelly Lofton, a more popular guy. How
Kenny
about the
Lofton.
Nationals X? That was good. I would have never guessed that one.
Now you guys know that one. That one's a good one.
Nationals or Expos?
Nationals or Expos?
So
Nationals
right
or
here,
Expos?
I already see an Edward Jackson answer right here, right off the bat.
Oh,
And it's just
definitely.
because we know there's 14 teams, and I already know who it is. I know he played for the Nationals, and I know he played for the Rays. I'm not sure if you guys want to go with him, or you guys want to wait for some other player.
We can go ahead and put it since we have them on the cheat sheet, and I mean, why not, right? We can put it on there. Edwin Jackson, since he is one of the 14 teams here, so that
Right.
see, he's there. Boom. That works perfect. What about the Cleveland Indians or Guardians with the Tampa Bay Rays or Devil Rays? Right. That one's kind of mind boggling me right now because I kind of feel like I don't know a lot about the Rays, and unless I'm kind of lost on this one.
I think one of the players that fell short from bouncing around. I don't know that he made double digits, but Asdrubal Cabrera.
Oh.
For
For
you're talking about the Cleveland.
Tampa Bay and Cleveland.
Oh, he
I
played
have-
for Tampa Bay.
Yeah, I think so.
He played for Tampa Bay, and he
did
played
play
for
for
the
Cleveland.
Indians.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Want to do that one, Ernie? Oh man.
Sure, let's go for it.
And Chuy, you know your stuff, dude. You're going.
Yeah,
you
let's
know
go ahead now.
these
Yeah. Let's see if we get that one.
Sorry.
Nah, that's all right. You good. Don't worry about it.
Oh, I got it. 2%.
Oh,
Good job,
what?
Chuy.
Dang. He played for the Reds too.
Look, I
didn't
didn't know. I didn't know he played for the Reds, and he popped up with the Reds hat. There you go.
So I knew he played for the Reds, but I wasn't sure for the Guardians. And I was like,
Yeah,
damn,
that one-
jump around.
So we
For the
all
Guardians, he
we
did.
all had him down for one team. See, I remember Tampa Bay. I remember Cleveland. You said Tampa Bay, and then you said Reds. So we all got it.
We got that one. All right, let's move on to the next one. The Nationals and the Yankees, or the Nationals and 200 hits. I believe the Nationals. You're looking at Vladimir Guerrero, right? With the
Yeah,
Expos?
that's the one I was going to use. Let's go ahead and use Vladimir.
Wait. You still have Dante Bichette, which is Bo Bichette's dad. I don't know if he hit 200. And then you're looking at Andres Galagarra.
Oh,
it's another guy that played for the Expos.
Right.
I don't know if he hit 200. He got 200 hits.
I'm sure Guerrero got it. I just don't know about the other guys. That's where I'm like.
Okay. Right. Yeah. And I know the other guys as being more of a power hitters. I don't know about 200 hits.
Yeah. And that's how I feel. But I just wanted to go ahead and put that mention out there. And then you have Mark Resselanic. Mark Resselanic, I know he got 200 hits with the Dodgers. He didn't do it with the Expos. Because I remember how Vince Scully was talking about Resselanic about how he got a little mini contract from the Dodgers because he got 200 hits. So that's crazy how we remember things, right?
Right. Some of these stats, how do they stick? I don't know, but they stick.
But they stick, right?
Right.
I'm
Vladimir
going Vladimir
Guerrero.
Guerrero just to play it
Let's
safe.
do it. Let's do it. Let's be safe. Let's be safe on this one.
Oh, 82%.
Everybody got this one. Everybody went for Vladimir. All right, so Yankees Nationals, is that one of the ones that are going to be pretty tough? I hope not.
Man, I got a guy. I just got him. He was a bullpen guy.
A bullpen guy?
Tyler Clippard.
Yes. Clippard.
I remember his glasses right now, and it was like, yeah. You guys want to go for that guy? I know he'll give us lower score.
Yeah, I wouldn't have thought of him.
Lower score? Yeah, that's a really low score.
I feel like people
won't find this one. Nah.
9%.
9%. Okay.
Good.
All right, so now we're going with the Yankees, the Rays, and then the 200 hit seasons in 30 stolen bases. I think we could do it. I think we could do it.
You know, there's one that I've been thinking about just because I don't know why my son James likes this guy. It has to obviously it's in the show. He loves this guy and he's a guy that he always wants me to get. Somehow I have to find him as a player. But Flying Dutchman, Honus Wagner.
Honus Wagner
hit over 300 hits, hit over 3,000 hits, and the guy is fast. So the reason why he likes him is because he can steal bases off him. So I'm sure 30 was, I don't want to say a piece of cake, but that was doable for him. But the 200 hits I'm more confident about just because the guy had hit more than 3,000 hits in his career.
So you want to do that one with the 200 hits and the 30 stolen bases?
I would say, and I don't recall his bases, but I do know he was fast, and that's the reason why my son always likes to get this guy, so he can steal just first pitch stealing, and he's pretty fast in the show.
Okay, so let's just do that, man.
You guys want to go for it?
Yeah, I believe him.
Honus Wagner, Chuy, you've been on a hot one. You've been getting all the good guys.
I know.
Listen, I play MLB The Show with my son a lot.
Oh, point.
Oh, man, look at this.
0.8%. 0.8%. Damn, it's a good one.
Damn.
I think it's more the name. His nickname was the Flying Dutchman. He played with the Pirates, so I think that it's a cool nickname.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right, let's go to the last two spots. You think I think we can get it, dude. Come on. All right, Tampa Bay Rays. There's not that many, right?
But I only got Carl Crawford. What about
Carl Crawford comes to mind, and then you.
What about the center fielder, BJ Upton? He was pretty fast.
Oh yeah, that's a good one right there. Wow.
I don't know. He hit 30.
Yeah, he easily got. I remember him getting like 40, 50 one year.
Oh yeah, because he does have his brother. He has his brother named Justin, and then there's BJ.
Justin.
BJ's the skinny one.
Skinny center fielder.
It's not a bad one. I think that one's a good one. BJ Upton. You got Carl Crawford, and then you still have the guy that's still with the Rays right now. Rosarena too. I think he got 30 stolen bases.
For time purposes,
BJ Upton's a good one.
All right, let's go BJ Upton. 16%.
Dang, that's
16.
good. All right, and then with the Yankees, you got to go old school with this one.
Oh man, I only know Chuck Knobloch. I don't really know anybody else.
Chuck Knobloch.
I mean, I'm sure some of the more common ones, Jeter, I'm sure did more than 30.
Yeah,
that's true.
Johnny Damon was old when he went to the Yankees, huh? He wasn't stealing bases anymore.
Yeah.
You have. I know there's a 30-30 guy from the Yankees. There's a 40-40 guy from the Yankees. But I'm pretty sure Chuck Knobloch is not going to be one of those players that are remembered by the Yankees. I think it'll be a low percentage if we do go for Chuck Knobloch. I think. You guys agree, or?
I agree. I would have picked Kenny Lofton, but I don't know that he did his 30 steals with the Yankees.
Oh, cool. We got it. All right. So we went Immaculate. Our score was 141.
Next time we need to do it lower.
So here's a little breakdown
like
into your score.
2 digits. Yeah, go for it.
Yeah, single digits. But one of the more common answers were like CC Sabathia, Alfonso Soriano, Ricky Henderson for the Yankees, 30 stolen bases.
Yeah.
Carl Crawford, Nelson Cruz on this one, Corey Clover, Kenny Lofton, and Ichiro Suzuki was a popular 230 stolen bases.
Yeah, that one's a
Okay.
pretty
So
good
pretty
one.
cool,
That's a
man. Good
good one.
job, guys. We went ahead and got
Cool.
Immaculate.
That was awesome.
Hey, next
I'm
time
gonna
we
stop
need
sharing.
to
We'll
do
go.
two digits though. Next time we need to do 2 digits. Try to do the 2
Yeah,
digits and try to see if we can get it
for real, for
under
real.
Perfect.
100.
Overall, we did pretty
Yeah,
good. We did pretty good.
yeah, that was
Yeah,
dope. All right,
that was good.
so we hit that point in the show that we are just gonna do the quick. Did you know? We were gonna test Chuy, but he already pretty much helped us with the Immaculate Grid, getting a low score, not too bad. Chuy, do you want to give us a did you know from the Braves, the John Smoltz story you were telling me?
Yeah. So John Smoltz, Hall of Famer, right? 8-time All-Star, World Series champion, Cy Young winner, Gold Glove, strikeout leader. I mean, the guy was a pretty solid pitcher, I would say, right? And
Of course.
he was actually one of the stats NL saves leader also, which you don't really see too much from starters, especially that had a very illustrious career. But he was sharing the story this weekend. They had him up in the broadcast booth, and he was saying how he got drafted in '85. He got drafted it was in the 22nd, 23rd round, so he got drafted pretty deep by the Detroit Tigers, and they had him in their minor league system. And '87, he went 4-10. And the Tigers are like, man, this guy's not going to cut it. He's just not going to cut it. He's not what we're looking for. So we got to give this young guy up. We got to trade him for somebody solid. And in the trade deadline, the Tigers go ahead and trade him for a pitcher that was in the Braves that I don't recall, named Doyle Alexander, he said. They
Okay.
traded John Smoltz for a 38-year-old pitcher who the Tigers ended up winning. I believe it was the Blue Jays who they took out for the postseason, but they ended up not making it to the World Series. And the very next season, John Smoltz starts his career with the Braves, and the rest is history. So I didn't know this part of this story. I thought this guy was part of. I mean, I know he wasn't drafted by the Braves, but I thought the Braves traded for him because they saw potential. No, the Tigers, basically told him, you know what, dude, you're not gonna fit. We're gonna trade you, young
We don't
kid,
want, we don't
and
want you here.
we don't want you here. And the Braves
Yeah.
said, you know what, we'll trade you, dude. We'll give up the 38-year-old Doyle Alexander for you. And I would say the Braves came up big with John Smoltz. I don't know
Of
if you guys agree
course.
with me, but they came up big. I mean, 3,000 strikeouts, 300 plus game winner. I mean, it was a win for the Braves. I mean, this Doyle Alexander pitched one more season after that, then he retired, and John Smoltz just started his career. So I didn't know this, and I thought, being a Braves fan, it's something that I knew. I didn't know this, and I thought, wow, for him to share it on national TV, I thought it was amazing. And there you guys have it. Did you know? Did you know John Smoltz was pretty much rejected by the Tigers, and the Braves said,
Wow,
"Come on down."
No, I
what a
didn't know
great
that.
story! What a
I
great
didn't know
story!
that. That's a good did you know, because I honestly felt that they did that we needed to know something about John Smoltz or anybody pretty much. That's why it's this segment was the did you know. Guys, we reached the point in this show that we have to go ahead and log off. I know you guys are going to be crying because we're not going to be on here anymore. No, just playing. But last thoughts, Ernie, before we log off.
Well, thanks everybody for tuning in. If you are watching for the first time, make sure to like and subscribe our show. We appreciate it. We're trying to reach 500 subscribers. We are growing as a team, and we're trying to do better for you guys, bring the better content. So if you guys will give us that like, we would really appreciate it. Thank you.
Cool. And Chuy, your last thoughts before we log off?
Man, it was fun. Again, it was a whole another experience being in the show as opposed to commenting. I mean, I enjoy that too, but I enjoyed today. Thank you guys for having me. Thank you guys for putting this on. It's just I learned a lot. I thought Peter Gammons was knowledgeable in baseball, but I learned more from both of you than I did from Peter
Oh
Gammons
my
and all
God.
these broadcasters. So thank you, and it was awesome. It was a good experience. Thank you guys.
Yeah, thanks Chuy for tuning in with us, man. We really appreciate that you're here with us every Monday, man. So it's an honor to have you on the show.
Yeah,
Yes, sir.
dude,
Thank you.
Peter Gammons, that's a lot, man. Come on, come down. Peter
I'm
Gammons
on,
was he's a legend. He's a
yeah,
legend, dude.
Peter Gammon's been
Well,
watching baseball since. Ooh,
Yeah.
so we're talking about way back.
Yeah,
right. Wait.
Peter Gammons is
So
it's
so so
a it's a legend.
take that as a compliment, because I feel like when I get off at 8 o'clock every Monday, I'm like, man, I know baseball that much more. So thank you guys.
Yeah,
Yeah,
and did
that's
you
the
know
beauty.
that was really good? It was really
It
good.
really was,
I
man. We
liked
really
it.
appreciate it. That's something I didn't know either, and that's the beauty of the game of baseball. We're always learning something new. The historians are out there always digging for new information, and we're always finding new
That's right.
stories out there. So that's why we love this game. We're always learning.
Cool. I just want to say thanks, Chuy, for jumping in, and then Ernie, of course, it's always a pleasure having you on here. We're all baseball knowledgeable persons and people that love the game, and not only just the game, but the people that play it as well. We look into how they perform on the field and how they act and how they, give back to the community. They give those players have their lives separately than baseball, and we appreciate that, and we talk about it as much as we can here, and we always do our best and try to do it the best we can. From everybody here at Real Talk Baseball, I'm Carlos Baseball. This is Ernie Orange and Chuy. Real Talk Baseball, signing out.